Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923, AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender, American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC, DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage, LoFi Direct, Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent, License Lender, Broker Number ML 338923, Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number MC 338923, Rhode Island License Lender, License Number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down. Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I am Steve Risser along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And last night, the Lakers went up 1-0 in their best-of-7 series against the Warriors. Anthony Davis was dominant. He had 30 points. LeBron had 22. D'Angelo Russell had 19. Hit that big shot at the end to put the Lakers up 2 after the Warriors went on that 14-0 run to tie the game. So the Lakers now, they lead 1-0. This is a big win, a huge win, because they've stolen home court now. So because at minimum, the series is going to be 1-1 going to LA. So the Lakers continue to be the hottest team in the league, knocking off the defending champs last night.
Yeah, they did. Big win for them. Yeah, they stole home court advantage, and obviously the Warriors with their 11. I know they won 2 last, in the series against the Kings, but yeah, that was a big one last night for the Lakers. And LeBron really showed shooting the ball, and it was huge that Anthony Davis, had 30 and 23 rebounds last night. D'Angelo Russell added 19 with Dennis Schroeder with another 19 points. So yeah, like other guys for the Lakers, which again, that trade that they brought in, or the couple trades that they made towards the deadline to bring in some depth has really helped them. And, in this playoffs, at the end of the regular season and last night, because LeBron, he saw 22 and 11, but 9 for 24, 1 for 8 from 3. He's been struggling most of the postseason from 3, and other guys were able to kind of step up when we didn't get LeBron domination last night. So yeah, it's a big one for the Lakers that steal whole court there from Golden State.
Yeah, you mentioned LeBron hasn't been phenomenal from 3-point range. I mean, and realistically, he's needed other people around him to step up in this postseason. Anthony Davis in certain spots has been outstanding. It's pretty much like the Lakers now. That offense is running through AD as much as it's running through LeBron. And then you get the guys like Rui Hachimura in the first round, Austin Reeves in the first round, and then D'Angelo Russell last night. Other guys are stepping around LeBron. That's really making a difference.
Yeah, it absolutely has. That's what they've needed. That's what they've needed the last couple of years. They really didn't have much besides they had Westbrook, but we know about Westbrook the last couple of years. Like they really did not have much outside of AD and LeBron for another scoring option. And yeah, Hachimura's been able to do that. Dennis Jordan's been able to do that. Russell's coming back. Come back to LA doing that. Austin Reeves. I know they've had Malik Beasley as well, but I don't think he's probably going to play much just because he's not great defensively. And obviously with the Warriors guards, it's, he might not play a ton this series, but he's another option. If they need to go to somebody, he could also at times score the basketball as well.
Oh, absolutely. So now we're going to look at what the Lakers have to do to go up 2-0 on Thursday night. And my first thing is just keep having LeBron and AD look like one of the best duos in the NBA. Because really, since the trade deadline, yes, they've added pieces around them, but they played like one of the best duos in the league. So just continue to have those two guys play the way they've played. And if they continue that, I think the Lakers are going to be in really good shape and have a very, very good chance to win the series. Number two, as we said earlier, keep having guys like Russell and guys off the bench step up. As we talked about, Roy Hachimura did in round one. Austin Reeves has stepped up. Russell last night stepped up. So keep having those guys step up. That's going to be really key. If those two things happen, there's a very good chance they could be going to LA up 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, they absolutely could. With the way the bench has been playing, that was one of my points. Is the way they've been playing. Schroeder with the 19 last night. And it hasn't, and they all don't have to click on one night. But if one of two of those guys could put in like 10 points somewhere around there, that just puts up more pressure for LeBron and AD, and especially too for those two that we know for Anthony Davis, who's kind of banged up, and LeBron, who's older now. It's, for a while, I think for the whole series, it's every other day. There's not an extra day of rest. So that could be something too, where you're going to need a couple of those guys here. I know that, that could be something there for depth wise that the Lakers may need to use. Mine too, with Anthony Davis, just, being just having such a spectacular performance, as you mentioned, and then even the defense, like he was able to change shot. The Warriors only had 24 points in the paint, while the Lakers have 54. So, so I guess it's Anthony Davis and combination of the Lakers of using their size to their advantage, that they got the bigger team. They want to get points. They want to get and score in the paint. They're not going to chuck threes like the Warriors did. They got to be able to, and again, that helps them create second chances on the offensive glass with their size. So for the Lakers, kind of, continue to play, with the bigger lineup, take advantage of the Warriors' lack of size, and Anthony Davis, he continues to be spectacular like he was last night. The Lakers are in good shape to go up 2-0.
Absolutely. Now we'll move on to the Warriors. What do they need to do to even the series on Thursday night? And the most obvious thing is they need to contain AD. They cannot be continuing to have AD have these great performances against them, because this could get even worse. He can get like 35 to 40 points if they continue to let him have these great performances. They need to double. They need to try to get the ball out of his hands, not force him to dominate the game, and have the Lakers and have them and force the Lakers to shoot threes. If they could force the Lakers to shoot threes, and they miss them, and they contain AD, I think they're doing a good job. But the problem is they let AD go crazy last night, and that was the biggest reason why they lost the game.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Anthony Davis did whatever he wanted. They just, Kevon Looney did a phenomenal job. It's a bonus, but Davis is just a different animal. And he struggled. I know, Looney still had over 20 rebounds last night, but they just, the lack of size is gonna hurt. And I agree with you. They got a double team Anthony Davis, because again, it's not a Laker team that they don't have a ton of guys that are gonna kill you from three, that are gonna beat you from behind the 3-point line. So you can be able to take those risks. And one of my points too, kind of bouncing off yours, was like, I feel like the Warriors have to sag off the Lakers from three. Like there was one possession where, Andrew Wiggins was guarding LeBron for 40 feet away. He's not going to hit that shot.
No.
Like there's no point, like you got to sag off a little defensively on them, because the Lakers want to get to the lane. They want to get to the foul line. So you're just inviting them to do that. So I think the Warriors offensively got to change some things up here before game 2. And I know short rest, and I know the Kings, that's the style you kind of have to play against the Kings, but now you're facing a Laker team with a totally kind of different style. Yeah, you got to fix up your defense, and that's a big adjustment there for game 2.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they definitely have to contain AD, and also they need other guys to be consistent outside of Steph and Clay. They need Jordan. I know Jordan Poole's good last night, but they need him to be more consistent. They need Draymond Green to start scoring more. They need Wiggins to be more consistent. They need more consistency out of guys that are not named Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, that would help, because they need to knock down shots, because as I just mentioned too, with the way the Lakers want to play, they're not going to shoot a lot of threes, where they're going to score. They had 54 points in the paint last night. You got to, if they're going to shoot threes, they're going to have to hit their shots. They're going to have to knock down shots because the Lakers, they're good about scoring around the basket, and they're one of the best teams that get into the free throw line. So, again, like the free throw number, this discrepancy, like it's not really that shocking because the Lakers do get to the basket and do draw fouls. When you're shooting threes, you don't. So a lot of free points are going to go to the Lakers from going the free throw line. So yeah, the Warriors are going to have to knock down shots. And, like Curry last night went through a drought. Like he scored in the first quarter and then, didn't score again like the 7-minute mark in the third. Like they're going to need him to be, Curry and a lot of those guys consistently scoring and hitting their threes. They're going to take 53 a game in this series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If they're gonna take him, they gotta hit him. So interesting game Thursday night. Must win for the Warriors Thursday night though. They got to beat the Lakers or they are in big trouble. But talking about must wins, the Knicks got a win they needed last night. They beat the Heat 111-105. Jalen Brunson was great. Had 30 points and he was great at the end. Got hit a big shot to tie hit a big three to tie the game. Then he hit a shot to. I don't know if he hit the big three to put them up by 3. Then he hit a shot to put them up by 5, and then Josh Hart hit that huge 3. So Jalen Brunson was great at the end of the game last night. Like he's been pretty much all playoffs. Game 1 against Cleveland, Game 4 against the Cavs, and then last night he's really proven to be a closer for this team. He's had an outstanding year for this team. The Knicks even the series 1-1 against the Heat. The big question though is who has the edge in the series. And I know Jimmy Butler was out last night. And I know the Heat gave them a good game, but I think the Knicks have the edge, and I think they have the edge because they're the more healthy team. They're the more healthy team. Randall's more healthy. I think Randall is more healthy than Jimmy Butler. Brunson's playing really well. Barrett's been playing great, and the Heat have Tyler Hero out. So, yes, I know the Heat almost won last night, and I know the Knicks bench has to be better. They've been outscored 50-27 in this series. That has got to change, but I do think the Knicks have the slight edge in the series. I think it's going 6 or 7. I think it's definitely going 6 or 7. There's no question about that. I think the Knicks have the slight edge because they are the healthier team.
I'm going with the Heat. I think when Jimmy Butler comes back, the Knicks won. The Knicks won like a desperation one, like a must-win game. But yeah, without Jimmy Butler, you still only won by 6. I get the point of the Knicks are much more healthier right now than the Heat because no Tyler Hero as you mentioned as well this series. But did you see Jimmy Butler on the bench last night? Like he's
he was
popcorn,
coaching,
like he's enjoying himself. Like I think when he comes back, I think you're gonna get that Jimmy Butler that we got at Milwaukee where he knows he's gonna win the series. I think he knows he's the best player on that floor, and when that happens. I could see Jimmy putting up 35-40. Again, Brunson's been great. Josh Hart played really well last night. Randall played well for a stretch. I thought in the second half he started forcing some things. But I think the Heat with Jimmy Butler, I think when he comes back with Bam Adebayo, I think Miami finds a way to win the series in 6-7 games.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're expecting the Jimmy Butler to be the Jimmy Butler like he was against Milwaukee. He's not going to be the Jimmy Butler he was against Milwaukee because the guy's banged up. The guy's not going to be 100%. Jimmy Butler's not going to be 100%. And Brunson and Randall is back. I think Randall's back. I think Randall is back to playing really, really well. He played really well last night. Brunson obviously is a great closer. I'm telling you, the series is going to be really close. I'm just saying the Knicks have the edge. And like I said earlier, I think they're just more healthy. I'm going to tell you one thing. I guarantee you this. You're not going to get the Jimmy Butler you got against Milwaukee. Now, is that good enough to beat the Knicks having a Jimmy Butler that's like 85%? Yes. But you're not getting the Jimmy Butler that played against Milwaukee. That's why this series is going to be long, and I think the Knicks have the advantage right now.
Yeah, it may not. Yeah, you may not get that same Jimmy Butler, but I think guys have stepped up around that. Gabe Vincent last night had a really good night. Caleb Martin has been playing pretty well this postseason. Bam Adebayo is a really good center. Max Strus, had 17 last night. They didn't get a ton of scoring off the bench, but they got a little bit. And then you still got Kevin Love, who I think it's not great anymore, but I think, like in game 1 where the Heat really did well in transition because Kevin Love with those outlet passes, he's so good at that. He's been so good at that for so long. Yeah, I think with Spoelstra too, again, Tom Thibodeau is a great coach, but I think Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the game. And I would put Thibodeau in the top 5, top 10. But that 2-3 zone last night almost worked. I still don't completely trust the Knicks from 3-point arc. And you're going to see that 2-3 defense again, especially if the Knicks are struggling. Again, the Knicks played a great first half on Sunday, and then they just started to decide to chuck. Like they kind of, they just chucked. And I think Spoelstra finds a way to outcoach Thibodeau just a little bit. And I think that's why as well. I don't like betting against that Heat team. I've been bit by it before. And I think even losing by 6 last night on the road without your best player, I think is a really positive sign for Miami.
Yeah, but the problem with the Heat, though, is late in the game, if Jimmy Butler's banged up, you saw this last night, who you trusting to make a big shot? Are you trusting Gabe Vincent? Are you trusting Caleb Martin? Are you trusting Kyle Lowry? Are you trusting Bam Adebayo? No. You're not trusting any of those guys to hit a big shot late in the game. So, yes, I think this series is very evenly matched. But I'll trust. If Jimmy Butler's banged up and isn't 100%, I'll take Jalen Brunson over any of those guys outside of Jimmy Butler to hit a big shot late in the game to win it to win a game. I know guys that stepped up for the Heat, but there's nobody you could completely trust is going to be consistent. I could trust that Jalen Brunson's going to be consistent. I think I could trust that Julius Randle's going to be consistent. And with the way RJ Barrett's been playing since Game 3 of the first round against Cleveland, I might be able to trust that RJ Barrett's going to be consistent. There's more guys you can trust in the Knicks that are going to be consistent than you can on the Heat.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point because there's not guys have stepped up for the Heat, but could they consistently continue to do it? Like Gabe Vincent, hasn't been great throughout his career, but again, like this postseason, he's been playing well. Miami was knocking down shots against Milwaukee, but again, it is a totally different now that New York actually guards a 3-point line, not like Milwaukee, and just kind of lets guys just shoot wide open threes. So the Knicks right now, like Jalen Brunson is playing a man on a mission. Josh Hart again last night almost had a triple double. 4 of your 5 guys had double figures, and 3 of them had over 20 points. So, New York's got some guys you could trust. Yeah, Butler's not 100%, but Jimmy Butler, I think if he's close to 85, 90%, I think, he's on the floor late in the game. He wants that shot, and I think he knocks down that shot. Still, even if he's not 100%. Yeah, they don't have a ton of other guys for the Miami who could knock down consistently. They struggled last night down the stretch, but with the Heat, I think supposed to draw something up where he gets Butler going, and I think Butler, even he's somewhat banged up, I think could still knock down a late jumper to win a game or give his team the lead late in the game.
And he could. He definitely could. And you made a good point about Spoelstra. Spoelstra might be one of the top coaches in the NBA, seeing what he's got out of this Miami, what he gets out of this Miami team pretty much year in and year out. So Spoelstra is definitely. I remember we didn't think he was that good when LeBron was there. Didn't think Alex Spoelstra was that good, but then he proved to clearly be the best coach LeBron ever had. But this should be a great series at the end. I just personally think I trust more guys in the Knicks than I do on the Heat. I think the Tyler Hero injury is definitely going to play a factor. It definitely did last night. Not having Tyler Hero there. Definitely, and Jimmy Butler, obviously not having Jimmy Butler there was a factor, but not having Tyler Hero there definitely was going to be a factor, and it's going to be a factor with Miami throughout the postseason. So I just think there's more guys in the Knicks you could trust to be consistent. That's why I take them. I still got them winning it in 7.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I think it helps Miami. They get a couple days here for Butler to get healthy, but I'm going to take the Heat. I think they win this thing in 6. I think the Heat find a way to win the series and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
It should be very interesting between these two teams, between the Knicks and Heat. This has been a great series so far. But we'll move on to another Eastern Conference series between the Celtics and the Sixers. And the Sixers won Game 1, and they got even more good news is they'll have Joel Embiid back against the Celtics tonight. So this is going to be a brutal game for the Celtics. Been a very, very tough 48 hours for Boston sports fans, obviously, with what happened to their hockey team and what happened to their basketball team in Game 1. I mean, the Red Sox, we'll get to them. They're the only saving grace for that city. I think this is a game. This is a game where if the Celtics want to even this series, they need to get more to Marcus Smart. They need more to get out of Derek White, and they need to get more to Al Horford. They need to get more to those 3 guys because Brown was good in game 1, and Jason Tatum at 39 points. And also, one thing they really need to do is they need to defend. 119 points without a team's best player. I know there's a lot of scoring in the NBA today. That is flat out inexcusable. That defense is flat out inexcusable to allow James Harden to score 45 points on Monday night. That they didn't come out with the intensity. They came out with the intensity like it was a regular season game. They got to come out with playoff intensity. And they must do that tonight, or they're going to lose this series.
Yeah, they absolutely will. One of was it Tatum? It was either Tatum or Jaylen Brown was like, yeah, we just kind of figured without Embiid, we just didn't have the defensive intensity, or and it's like it's a semifinal game.
Playoff.
Like
this is the playoffs. So I don't care who's on the floor. You got to have the intensity to win that game. You think if Larry Bird was on that? If Larry Bird's playing that game, there's no way the Celtics are losing. There's no way Larry Bird didn't care who was on the floor. He was out there to win the game. Went back in the KG era, the KG. Paul Pierce, Paul Pierce, the big three, that era, they didn't care who was on the floor. They won the game. The lack of intensity in game one, that's inexcusable.
Yeah. Imagine one of those guys played with like Michael Jordan said that, or one of those guys, like Kobe. Again, they're getting their ear cheered off today from one of those guys for saying stuff like that. That's again, the defense for the Celtics hasn't been great. We kind of saw them almost blow the thing to Atlanta. What Trae Young did in that fourth quarter.
And we talked about how that was going to hurt him. And I think it could very easily, not winning game 5, could have very easily cost him game 1 of this series.
Yeah,
this is two straight home games they've lost in the playoffs so far. That's not Celtics basketball. We know that.
No, it's not. You could have started Saturday. You could have had no Embiid, for 2 games there. And if you really kind of stepped on it, you really wanted this thing, and you really, because I'm not saying they want to win the final, but they want to go out there and win the finals, obviously. But like a team that really is motivated, really wants it, they don't care who's on that, as we just mentioned, who's on that floor. You very easily could have got 2 games without Joel Embiid. You could be going to Philly up 2-0 feeling good about yourselves, but now you're in a must-win situation for the things for the way you kind of handle things. Again, like how'd they get beat against the Warriors last year? They turned the ball over so much. They were careless with the basketball. They were in game 1. Again, Malcolm Brogdon's turnover was like the Jacoby Myers one against Vegas. It was just like totally, what are you doing there? There's nobody around them. So for the Celtics, it's just like the intensity's got to be there. The focus got to be there. It's a must win tonight. But the Celtics team's got to get back on track very quickly, because the way James Harden played last night or on Monday night, again, got to give him a lot of credit, because I've been hard on him the last couple of years, but he's showing up well. And I think also for the Celtics too. Actually, this is the last thing I'll say about the Celtics. Stop switching off of PJ Tucker. Like, he's not shooting the basketball. Why do you late in that? They did it all night.
That's terrible. That's the problem when you have pretty much an interim head coach coaching your team. And if that was Ime, that would have been stopped in the first quarter.
Yeah. Again, that's gonna get you beat. Like that's an adjustment they have to make. You cannot have that. Again, leave. You do not have to switch off screens when it's PJ Tucker. You don't it's not like, that's not hard to see in a scouting report. But I don't know. That's that's stuff they gotta fix for tonight.
Oh, absolutely. If they don't get it fixed, they're going to be done. And now moving on to the Sixers, what do they got to do to go up 2-0? Harden and Embiid just got to continue to be great. Harden was great in game 1. Embiid was really good before he got hurt in the postseason. So those 2 guys just got to continue to be great. And then just have Maxey and Harris continue to play the way they did in game 1. If they can get 4 guys scoring at least 15 points, they're going to be in good shape. They're going to be in this game late, and they're going to have a very, very good chance of taking a commanding 2-0 lead in the series.
Yeah, they absolutely could. The other guys have stepped up. Even Melton had a really good half last on Monday night as well. Him, Harris, Tyrese Maxey, we've been able to see. James Harden, again, you're not going to get another 45 from him tonight, but you can get 20, 25. I think that's perfect for him. He was efficient. If he could continue to be efficient again, you're getting Embiid back, who just won the MVP last night. Congratulations to him. And Horford hasn't looked great. Like, do we see more Robert Williams now at the center position? He is a better defender than Horford, but I know Williams has kind of been battled by that knee injury the last couple of years. But Embiid's going to be tough to stop tonight, and Sixers could have the edge there, and if the other guys just step up around, if they got a double team and Embiid and Maxey, Harris, and all those other guys to knock down shots, yeah, the Sixers could be very well going up 2-0, going back home.
Absolutely. And speaking of Embiid, last night he won the MVP. And the big question is was this your pick to win the MVP? For me, it was. I mean, he was averaging over 30 a game. I know it was close between him and Jokic. Jokic was almost averaging a triple-double, but I had to give it to Embiid. He was averaging over 30. He's averaging like 33 points a game. So I had to give it to Embiid, and it was his turn. But there is controversy that people didn't want to give it to Jokic because they didn't want to give it to a guy 3 years in a row.
Yeah. I was one of those Jokic guys. I remember we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I kind of felt like Jokic played in that Sixers game. Embiid sat it out. I know Embiid's been absolutely.
You were not happy about Embiid sitting out that game against the Nuggets.
No, it's the 2 MVP guys with 3 weeks left. You can't play like that.
Got to rest up. Got to rest up. It is bad for the league. Those guys. That should have been. We should have gotten that matchup that night.
Yeah, it's an 82 game exhibition. That's kind of what
I wouldn't go that far, but yes, the sitting of guys.
It's getting close. It's getting close, but yeah, again, he deserved it though. Him and Jokic were close. They averaged 33 and 10 this year. Just dominating performance. He definitely deserved it. I know Jokic won 2 in a row. There may be some fatigue there, but yeah, again, Embiid definitely deserved the MVP, and he had a remarkable season. I know the last couple of years he's been really good. Jokic's been, there's been other guys that have been just a little bit better than him, and yeah, finally his turn to win one.
Oh, it absolutely was. It absolutely was. I'm happy for him. He's had a really good career with the Sixers, and we'll see if he makes a deep playoff run. He could finally get to the conference finals, and then he's got a great chance to do that. And the Sixers have a great chance of getting there with the win tonight. So it's going to be a big game between the Celtics and Sixers. Should be very interesting to see what happens there. But we got to talk. We'll wrap up, talk about the NBA, talking about the Nuggets being up on the Suns 2-0 in their series. I mean, the Suns, the biggest issue with the Suns is their bench. Their bench is absolutely terrible. And then now they're going to be losing Chris Paul for games 3 and 4. So that bench is going to get worse. So, I mean, it really, for the Suns to get back into the series, they need to get something off their bench. I don't know how they're going to get it because their bench is terrible, but they got to get something off their bench. And they need D-Book and KD to be outstanding. They both got to score at least 30 points for this team, especially in game 3, for this team to get back into this series.
Yeah. Now Durant was non-efficient tonight. He's 10 for 27, and he was for 3, he was 2 for 11. He was 2 for 12 and 3, and he had 7 turnovers in game 1. He's got to be better. Booker too. Those two got to be phenomenal. Those two really have to play well, and yeah, they need something off the bench. Like Cameron Payne, again, maybe with Cameron Payne now, maybe they're able to. Maybe they kind of try to speed up that offense, and they try to, maybe get in transition more. It seems to fit Cameron Payne a little bit better, but yeah, they need somebody like that to kind of come in and score. Or if not, they're gonna, and the problem is they lost a defensive game the other night, 97-87. Like, if they can't if Durant and Booker can't, get it going, or, because again, they're both not going to score, you need both those guys to score like 40, 45 a night, and you're probably not going to get it for both of them. And if your bench isn't score, you're going to have to win a defensive battle. And I just don't think that they're defensively good enough to do that. So, yeah, they're in big trouble right now, and I think without Paul, I think this thing could be over in 5 games right now. I really like the way the Nuggets are playing, and the Suns team. Yeah, I just don't trust the bench. I don't trust anybody to step up for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if it did, and for the Nuggets, for them to go up 2-0, I mean, just have this starting 5 continue. They don't have a great bench either, but just have this starting 5 continue to play the way they're playing. Murray was great in game 1. Jokic was great in game 2. Porter Jr., Gordon, they've all stepped up. So they have this starting 5 to continue to play the way that they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Murray had a rough game. He had a rough night the other day, and he stepped up. In game, he had a good game 1, but he struggled in game 2. I expect him to bounce back. Jokic played really well, and kind of, and he had 40 points the other night. So. Yeah, for the Nuggets, they don't have a great bench, but they got guys around that are good enough. They're able to knock down shots. So yeah, I think for the Nuggets, the way they've been playing, and I like offensively or defensively too, when Durant and Booker, they're coming in the pick and rolls, they're sending an extra guy, because they know that nobody else in that Sun team is going to knock down shots. And if they do, you kind of just applaud them and say, okay, that's, they're not going to let KD or Booker beat them. And I think that's exactly how you have to play it right now.
Oh, absolutely. And the big question here for the Suns and Kevin Durant is how much pressure is on Durant right now? What happens if he loses this in 4 or 5? Because last year he got swept out of the playoffs to the Celtics when he was with the Nets. He wanted away from the Nets. He wanted to leave, get traded. He goes to a team that is a really good team, a team that got to the finals 2 years ago. And then if he loses this in 5, there's no way you could call him the best player in the NBA. You arguably could say he might not even be a top 3 player in the league, or even a top 5 player in the league if he loses the series in 5 games. So I think there is some pressure on Kevin Durant right now.
Yeah, there absolutely is. I know we talked kind of like who's more pressure, was it Jokic or Durant last week, and I kind of thought Durant because if they lose, there's going to be a lot more pressure.
I still think there's pressure on Jokic. Jokic can't blow this. Jokic can't blow this now. He's up 2-0. He can't blow this. But there also is, as we said, there was a lot of pressure on Durant going into this series.
Yeah. This is his chance. I know this is more Booker's team than his. I know he joined in January, February, but look, and I know he didn't play a ton.
But the thing is, the Suns acquired him to get to the NBA Finals. That's why they went out and traded Cam Johnson and Markelle Bridges. They traded those guys to get to the finals. Yeah,
they did. And again, You traded your depth guys, or not even depth guys. You traded some decent pieces to get Durant, and I see why. It's 2 years ago you got to the finals, and they were close. But yeah, right now there's a lot of pressure on Durant that if they don't win the series, and again if he shoots 10 for 27 the next 2 nights and 2 for 12 from 3, yeah, there's gonna be a lot that he couldn't step up and knock down shots. Now, and yeah, we've kind of seen what happened in Brooklyn. We saw what happened in OKC. We know about, the titles he won in Golden State. But yeah, this is another chance here to kind of prove it in a Western Conference that's really wide open, where any team could kind of win it this year, that made the playoffs pretty much. So yeah, for Durant, this thing was wide open, and to lose in 4 or 5 games, would be, disappointing again to somebody who is a fantastic basketball player. It's one of the best guys in the sport right now. It has been for a while, but yeah, it's just it'd be another, tough out in the playoffs if they bow out, if his team bows out early yet again, it'd be tough.
Absolutely. So we got our winners and losers of the NFL draft, but before we give you those, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut. There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, Call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
All righty, so the NFL draft was last Thursday, and very interesting draft. I mean, to get pretty much a recap, obviously you had the 3 of the 4 quarterbacks going in the top 4. I mean, I think we all knew Young was going 1, and then Houston was pretty much the team that surprised us. Not for me with the quarterback. I knew they were going with C.J. Stroud, but traded up to the number 3 pick to get Will Anderson. They come out of this draft with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. That's huge. That's huge for them because arguably those were arguably at times the top 2 guys who could have been the top 2 picks in the draft. So they come out with pretty much come out with the number 2 and number 3 pick. Then you look at Indy getting Will Richardson, and then you look at it. You look at some of the trades. You look at Detroit. I'm going to get to Detroit. I don't get what Detroit did at all. Trading down and taking a running back and then reaching for a linebacker. I don't get that. Atlanta, Bijan Robinson, that surprised me. Him going to Atlanta 8, I didn't really like that. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I think the player is going to be great, but I just don't like him going there. And then Will Levis was a big story in this draft. Where Will Levis was going to go, and you knew when Tennessee didn't take him at 11, you knew there was a chance he was going to fall, and then he falls all the way into the second round, and then he goes to the Titans. So Justin, what were your thoughts on the draft?
Yeah, I loved what the Texans did. You mentioned trade up. They go get Will Anderson as well. Marco Ryans wants his big edge guy there, and I liked how they kind of you trade up some future picks, but who cares about later? Worry about the now, and I think that's exactly what they did. Yeah, the lines didn't make any sense with Kid. I guess it makes a little bit more sense that they ended up trading Swift, but yeah, I still don't. I didn't understand the Gibbs pick. I think you could have got him later on. Elsewhere in the draft, I thought the Eagles had another phenomenal, especially in the first round. I thought they did really well, but yeah, it was interesting. I was surprised. Well, I thought maybe Levis would go to Washington or maybe even Tampa would scoop him up there at 19 or even Washington at 16, but neither of them did. It was a little surprising that he went 33 to Tennessee, but yeah, I was also shocked that he didn't go forward because everything kind of signaled that Indy was in a draft him, and they ended up going Richardson instead.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're going to go to our winners and our losers of the draft, and I'll start with it. And my number 1 winner, it's obvious, the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, they were able to trade up to get Jalen Carter, arguably the best defensive player in the draft, maybe even the best player in the draft. I mean, that was a steal for the Eagles to get Jalen Carter, and also it fit a need because they lost Jerron Hargrave in free agency. So the Eagles, to me, my number 1 winner. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the fact they filled their needs. I like the fact they traded up to go get Broderick Jones, and with the first pick of the second round, we knew when you saw Steelers at 32 and Porter was still on the board, you knew Porter was going to go there at number 32. So I really, really like what the Steelers did. They addressed 2 needs with 2 first-round picks. So I think this Steelers team is in really, really good shape. I know it's a stacked AFC, but don't be surprised to see the Steelers in the playoffs this year, seeing what they did in this draft. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts because I like the fact they got a quarterback. They finally are not going to be playing quarterback roulette like they've been doing the last 6-7 years. They finally got their guy. I know he might not start right away. He might sit. You might see a lot of Gardner Minshew this year, but they got their guy, and I think this is a good match with Shane Steichen. I think this is going to be a really good match between Anthony Richardson and Shane Steichen. I think that Will Richardson is raw, but he could, as we said, he's got the highest floor of any player in this draft. So I think that's why they took him over Will Levis with the number 4 overall pick. Number 4 for me, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans because they got their quarterback and they got their stud pass rusher, and that's what you need in the NFL to be successfthey I think their rebuild. Now I'm starting to trust the direction of this franchise, the way it's going. I think that they did a really good job getting trading up for Anderson. Also, they addressed offensive line, interior O-line was a disaster. They got a receiver, Nathan Dow from Houston in the 3rd round. So I think Houston. I think they did a really good job in this draft. And number 5, I'm going to go with my team. I'm going to go with the Giants. I know I wanted one of those receivers. I really wanted one of those receivers, but they were all taken. They trade up. They get a corner who can play in Wick's scheme, can play man coverage in Deontay Banks. Then in the second round, they addressed a major need, and that was the interior of the line. They get the center from Minnesota. I think what's his name again? I think it's Michael Schmitz.
John Michael Schwartz.
John Michael Schwartz. They get a center in the second round, and then the third round, you got to love this pick. They go out and get Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. So I really, really like the Giants draft this year. I think Joe Shane did a really, really good job in this draft. Justin, your 5 winners from this year's draft.
My 5, I get the same number 1 as you. I got the Eagles at number 1. What they did get in Jalen Carter at number 9, Nolan Smith at 30, a couple more UGA guys. We saw they drafted a couple last year. I also like that they got Ringo there late in the 4th round. I thought, he's another steal. And then as an undrafted free agent, getting Eli Ricks too. Like, I thought he's a guy that could go late in like the 3rd round, and he ends up going undrafted. I thought that was also another steal for Philly. Number 2 for me was the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. I like that they moved ahead to the Jets. They got Broderick Jones, and then, as you mentioned, Joey Porter Jr., but then also Darnell Washington at tight end. I think that's a really nice fit.
That's a good one. I didn't say that. I didn't mention that yet. That's a really good one right there.
Yeah, I think he'll fit with that offense well with Kenny Pickett. I think that's another good one. I'm with you. That Steel organization, they're going to be right there yet again. Number 3, I went to Seattle. I got, with Devin Witherspoon and Jackson Smith at Jigba, and then they got the pass rusher and Derek Hall they needed. And I thought they did a good job in day 3 at just kind of bolstering that all O-line. And I think they really kind of improved the roster. And I think they could really give San Francisco a run for the money in that division.
Here's where I disagree with Seattle, though. Here's where I disagree with Seattle. What did they do to their front 7 in the first round to improve it? Nothing. This team is one of the worst teams against the run all year. Yeah, you can't call them a loser of the draft because they got a guy like, Jackson Smith and Jigba and Devin Witherspoon. They improved. Where they were strong, they became really strong at receiver and corner. But that run defense is going to scare me, especially when you're competing with a team like the 49ers.
No, it definitely could. I think, Morris and Hall, I know they're more edge guys. I know they didn't really do a ton of they got Cameron Young for the interior defense, but I know they didn't do great, but I still thought the talent that they're bringing in, I think they could still give the Niners a run for the money. Number 4, number 4, I had the Houston Texans as well. I liked what they did. They mentioned, bringing up or trading up for Anderson, getting CJ Stroud. I think they got some really good depth guys as well in day 2, with Nathaniel Dell, Shrugs out of Penn State. I think Houston had a really good draft again. Not, the rebuild still a long way to go, but I think they had a pretty good draft, and I think they, feel good about the direction they gone in. And then, number 5 for me too was your Giants. The cornerback position going there early. I know you wanted a wide receiver, but Banks is a good one at corner. It's actually John Michael Smith. I thought it's Schwartz, but it's Smith's. But and Jalen Hyatt, that's a nice outside weapon that you guys grabbed. You saw how open he was at Tennessee last year. He's a guy that is great at creating space for himself, and I think the Giants did a really good job getting depth at the wide receiver position. And I think they got some solid picks as well with Eric Gray out of Oklahoma. He's a versatile weapon at running back, can do a little bit of everything with his elusiveness. So I think the Giants as well had a really good draft.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Now we'll get to our losers of the NFL draft. And for me, number 1 is the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, they didn't have a first-round pick, and that was their own fault, tampering with Tom Brady. And then their second-round pick, they take a corner. They're strong in the secondary. They got Xavier and Howard. They got Xavier and Howard, Jalen Ramsey, Javon Holland. They're already strong in the secondary. They needed to improve that front 7. That front 7. That's what needed improvement. So they really shouldn't have been going out and get a corner. And then with their 3rd-round pick, they take a running back. Okay, I don't mind that. But they really didn't have a 4th-round pick. They didn't have a 5th-round pick. So for me, Miami really didn't get better at all after this draft. So to me, they're my number 1. The Dolphins are my number 1. Number 2 for me is the Jaguars. For me, it's the Jaguars. I know they need a left tackle because of what's happened with Cam Robinson. So they got the kid from Oklahoma. But that was a total reach. Their first-round pick was a complete reach there. They really didn't address many of their needs in the first 3 rounds. They got Brenton Stranger. I like Brenton Stranger, I'm a Penn State fan, but also they got Evan Ingram. They take a running back in the third round. They got obviously one of the better backs in the league in Travis Etienne. So they really didn't. To me, they really didn't address their needs that much. And their first round pick was a major reach. So I know they addressed the need with that pick, but that pick was a reach for me. So that's why they're my number 2 loser in this draft. Number 3, it's absolutely the Detroit Lions. Absolutely the Lions. I think the Lions blew a major opportunity in this draft to be a top team in the NFC because of the picks they made in the first round. First, they have the number 6 overall pick. They had a chance. They had a chance to get Jalen Carter, and they traded down. And then they trade down and they draft a running back who was projected to be a late first round pick. What are you doing? Or they could have had Christian Gonzalez when they need a ton of help at corner. This team needs help on defense. They don't need to be drafting running backs. And of course that got DeAndre Swift upset, and that's why he's an Eagle right now. But yeah, that to me that didn't make sense. And then in that second round pick, oh my God, Jack Campbell. That was another reach. Yeah. So to me, the Lions were definitely one of the biggest losers in this draft, and that's why. Then number 4, the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, and for me, one of the big reasons why is I like Bijan Robinson. Don't get me wrong. Bijan Robinson was great in college, but you had a back that went for over 1,000 yards last year, and if you look, and you also had a chance to get Jalen Carter, a can't miss prospect. You played in your own backyard, and you were second to last in the NFL in sacks last year with 21. I know the 2 edge rushers were gone with Tyree. I know you probably wanted Tyree Wilson there. I know the 2 edge rushers were gone with Tyree Wilson and Will Anderson. The 2 top edge rushers were gone. But to take a running back top 10 when you had a running back rush for over 1,000 yards, to me, that does not help your team. And they also didn't really improve the receiver position that much either, which they lacked depth there as well. So that's why they're one of my losers in the draft. And last, this one was a tough one, but I'm going to go with the Jets. I know, the Aaron Rodgers thing was the reason they didn't have a second-round pick. But if you look at the Jets, I really felt like they needed to get a tackle in the first round. I know they got leapfrog there with that pick, but still, I think they still really needed to come out of this draft with a tackle in one of the first 2 rounds. They ended up getting a tackle in the 4th round in Carter Warren, but I felt like a tackle was a necessity, especially in the first 3 rounds, because of the injury history of Mekhi Becton. But Justin, who are your losers of this year's draft?
Mine, number 1, I got the Miami Dolphins as well. I thought they waited way too long to get an offensive lineman. They waited the 7th round. Like you need to get help for Tua there, and I think too that they need the tight end. And I feel like this was kind of a draft where you could find a couple of really good tight end prospects, and they didn't really do that. I like the Devin Akina pick from Texas A&M. I think he'd be a solid running back, and I think he fits that Miami scheme well. But that's kind of the only pick I like. I know they only had 4, but I thought they waited way too long to address the O-line. My number 2 one, I had the Detroit Lions. Yeah, I think both first-round picks. I know Gibbs makes a little sense now, but yeah, I thought that was still a reach there at number 12. You could have got him later, and you could have maybe got some other assets there. I think Jack Campbell could be a really good linebacker, but yes, I think that was a reach, and I think you could have done something else there. And even at the 12th pick, you could have gone and got a cornerback in Gonzalez, or or even Emmanuel Ford, which I probably would have been a reach as well. But I didn't think the Lions did great, and yeah, they kind of missed an opportunity there to really kind of put themselves in now a division where it's kind of wide open. I know the Vikings won it last year, but I'm still not a big fan of that. I think
I'm not a fan of the Vikings either. Very wide open division.
Yeah, so I think they really missed their chance there. My number 3 one, I had Washington. I know they ended up getting Forbes, but I still thought they could have gone quarterback. They could have addressed quarterback. I'm not sold on Sam Howell. Like, you could have maybe addressed your quarterback situation there.
Washington was close for me. It was between them and the Jets for that last one spot.
Yeah, with Washington, I think a couple of their kicks were good, but I think you could have got a quarterback. You could have got a couple of weapons offensively for Sam Howell, but they didn't. I know they kind of got line there, mostly cutting an edge guy there late, but yeah, wasn't a big fan of Washington's draft either. Next, number 4 for me was Atlanta, as well. Bijan Robinson. I think he's going to be a really talented running back in this league, but yeah, why? If you just had out of BYU Tyler Algier. he was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. He had a really nice season. Yeah, you could have gone fix some holes there defensively. And then the tackle they got out of Syracuse, I think, he's going to have to switch to a guard. I think he's a project more. Like, I think they could have done better in the draft early on for the Falcons as well. And then number 5 for me is Denver. I think, I know the picks that, they're hurting from Russell and getting Sean Payton, but I know Marvin Mims and Drew Sanders were nice pickups. But I don't think they got anybody that's like really, in their couple picks. Like, I don't think they got many impactful guys that are going to kind of help them right away. And, it's not a great roster right now. Payton's going to help. They're going to be a little bit better, but I just don't think they added anybody, right now that really helps them kind of in that division too. Like, I don't think they really got too much. They didn't get a lot better either in this draft.
Absolutely. So we look at the Giants. We'll look at the Giants draft. We definitely like it. We both like it. They're one of our winners during the draft. So for me, I really think this draft was very productive for them. Deontay Banks, getting Michael Schmitz, Hyatt, and getting Eric Gray. I didn't talk about Eric Gray. I think the Eric Gray move is good because Saquon Barkley is on the franchise tag, and I think we need another running back. I really like the Eric Gray pickup. Joe Shane did a really good job addressing needs. And then, he addressed the need in the 7th round, getting Owens from Houston. You got another corner, which I like. Can't ever have enough corners in Wick's defense where he likes to play man coverage. And then you got another defensive tackle. So overall, I give the Giants an A- as a draft grade.
Yeah, I'm going there as well with you, an A-. Yeah, I think Schmitz is a guy who can kind of start right away at center. Banks, one of the top corners off the board. I think he fits the defensive scheme that Wink wants to run there. Hyatt, I mentioned, was really good at Tennessee last year. Just a guy that, won the Biletnikoff Award for top wide receiver. He can get open. Not a big wide receiver, but yeah, he's gonna get open. He's gonna be a nice downfield threat for Daniel Jones. And yeah, I think often Eric Gray as well, running back, just another versatile guy. And yeah, you can never in this day and age in the NFL, you can never kind of have get another running back to have a backup. That not a bad option. I think Eric Gray will fit that well. So yeah, I think the Giants had a phenomenal draft, and I think they made some good progress last weekend.
Absolutely. Now talking about your Patriots, I think this was a very interesting draft for the Patriots. I thought, in the first round, they did end up. It was surprised me they didn't take a tackle, but they did trade down, and they did get they wanted that pick because they selected it immediately. They took the best guy available, and they got Christian Gonzalez, who I think is going to be really good. You put him with Jonathan Jones as corners. That's going to be some good. They got some good. Those are going to be 2 really good corners. Then they got Keon White in the second round. I thought that guy was projected to go in the first round. For some people to go in the first round, so I like getting Keon White. But my issue with this Patriots draft was, number one, they didn't take an offensive player until the 4th round, and offense was the weakness of their team. So yeah, they took Jake Andrews in the 4th round as a center. So that's the weakness of their team is offense. They didn't take an offensive player until the 4th round. And then the thing that drove me nuts was they traded up for a kicker before they even had a receiver on the team. Belichick, again, as a GM, needs to stop acting like he's smarter than everyone else because it's not working because they haven't won a playoff game since 2008 and 18. They won a playoff game in 5 years. Stop trying to outsmart everyone. That's a terrible move to trade up for a place kicker. I mean, I know they're important. I know you guys know that Terry. I know they're important. That you shouldn't be trading for place kickers when you have an obvious need at the tackle position and at the receiver position. And another thing that bothered me was they didn't take a receiver until the 6th round, and they didn't even take a tackle in this draft. And tackle is a major, major need for this football team. So the overall grade, I'm going to give them a B- just because of what they got in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. If they didn't get those Gonzalez or White, yeah, they definitely would have been a loser. Yeah, I got a B for me. The first 2 rounds are really good. Gonzalez, that's a steal with White, which I think he helps in that line because he could play inside or outside in the defensive line, and Bill loves that versatility. Their 3rd round pick, Marte Mapu from Sacramento State. He's probably going to play linebacker, but again, more versatility, and he's going to be, but like I think he's going to play like a Kyle Duggar role. Like I think that's what his role is going to be, and and for him, and then I think he's going to be a special team guy for us as well. Which, and again, you saw with the kicker, we got the punter too. We got a kicker and a punt. Is that a first a team ever kicking a punter and a kicker?
I don't know. I have to look that up, but still, it is weird for a team to do that.
Yeah, no, it totally is. I was a little surprised when I saw that, but yeah, it's not a Patriot draft without picking some special team specialists. And then yeah, like I would have liked to tackle in a wide receiver. Well, tackle just would have been nice to pick, but yeah, like would have liked a wide receiver earlier. Like I like Keyshawn Boutte. Like I think he's low risk, high reward type guy, but yeah, like is he gonna? I don't think he's gonna be a big impactful guy. Demario Douglas, he's kind of could fill that slot wide receiver role for us, but that's another Patriot pick kind of feel. But yeah, I think outside the top 2 rounds weren't great. Like it was kind of a lot of kind of Bill Belichick. Can he hopefully outsmart everybody? But that doesn't always work. But yeah, again, awesome getting the steal for Gonzalez. I'm real excited. And I hope he's our next like J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore, number 1 quarterback for the next couple of years. And I think he got the potential to do that.
Yeah, a lot of upside with Gonzalez, but they made some, again, it was some good and bad for the Patriots. They made some good moves with getting Gonzalez, but also they didn't address some important needs especially receiver until the later rounds, and they didn't even get a tackle, which is beyond me seeing how bad Trent Brown was last year in a tackle for them. But we got to move on to, you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, it's just the same thing. Yeah, just seeing how bad he was a tackle that did confuse me. It did confuse me. He didn't take a tackle there and all the draft.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. I was kind of looking for that, but yeah, it just never came. And yeah, because Trent Brown's not great anymore. So yeah, I was expecting that at some point, but yeah, that was very surprising that they did not go to tackle position. That was interesting. It was also the first time since 2018 they did not pick anybody from Bama or Michigan. So usually those are two go-to guys, but two schools. But yeah, not this year. But yeah, would have been nice to get tackle.
Yeah. He probably don't want to take anything from Bama because of his relationship with Mac Jones right now, which is not the best. And there's no secret about that. No. But we got to move on to the Yankees, and it's been a really, really rough stretch for the Yankees. I know they won last night, but it's just been a really rough stretch. I think the number one issue is the offense. With having Judge and Stanton out, and really, outside of Rizzo, no one's hitting at all for this Yankee team. I know they scored 4 runs last night, scored some runs last night, but no one's hitting it off of this Yankee team. And the one thing is, if Garrett Cole wasn't on this team, how bad would this team be? This team would be – the division would be over. Garrett Cole's been outstanding this year. I think he should be the Cy Young in the American League for how well he's pitched. But outside of that, Nestor had a really rough outing on Sunday. This offense has been absolutely terrible. You can't track. There's no closer. I mean, Monday night's loss was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. How do you pull Domingo Germán after throwing 88 pitches? How do you throw Domingo Germán after throwing 88 pitches? And then Clay Holmes blows the game. That was the worst loss of the season. They did bounce back and win last night, but still the Yankees right now are in last place and are in a really, really bad state right now.
Yeah, we do have a closer, and that closer should be Mike King. That should be our closer.
You want King to be the closer. You want King to be the closer like he was last night.
Yes, that's perfect. Clay Holmes, what Boone's been saying, he's a tick off the last 10 months. So I don't know if that's still being a tick off if it's been going on for 10 months. But yeah, this team's a train wreck right now. You got 13 guys in the IL. Rodon, I don't think's pitching anytime soon.
No, that was the move. That was the move to make the team better. Was get Rodon, and he's not even on the. He's not even gonna. He might not even be on the team for the entire season.
Yep. So that hurts. The offense right now without Aaron Judge is not great. Rizzo Volpe another home run last night. Again, the average is starting to. I know I've been high on him. I think he's starting to come around.
You've been very high on Volpe. You've been very high on a guy hitting 215.
Yeah. Again, he hit another home run. If the analytical numbers actually say, his WAR, whatever that thing is.
I don't care about his WAR. The guy is not that good yet.
Not yet, but I think he's coming along. As you mentioned with Garrett Cole, he's been awesome. You don't know what you're gonna get out of Germán. Nestor's, he was horrible last. They did not have a great outing against Texas, but Cole was great last night. Unfortunately to get the win, but they at least bailed him out of getting a loss. So that's progress, I guess, from this team. But yeah, it's not good. And the Monday night one, that was Well, did you hear Boone? Because Boone was like, "Oh yeah," because Herman gives up a lot of home runs. He was going the middle of the lineup, but it's like Cleveland doesn't hit home runs.
Please. The guy had a shutout going. He threw 88 pitches. There's no reason to take him out there.
Nope. He gave up. That was only his second hit, gave it up all night. And yeah, you don't trust. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But this team's a mess right now. They need to get healthy. And again, it ain't good. And it's it could be a long summer if they don't get some of these guys back soon. It really could. But
yeah,
the nice thing is, if you want to look forward to, the Somerset Patriots coming to Hartford, I think next month. So there could be a bunch of Yankees rehabbing down that trip. So I have to watch out for that. So
yeah, I might be seeing some. I might be seeing some. Yeah, so we might be seeing some Yankees that could be filling in. But yeah, because I think this team, even if Judge and Stanton come back healthy, I think it's hard to see this team really make a run this year because they're probably going to be like one of the the sixth seed in the American League if they somehow sneak into the playoffs because the Red Sox right now are ahead of them. So if they sneak in, they'd be the sixth seed, and I just don't see this team really making that big of a run, even when Judge and Stanton are back.
No, because this lineup just right now is not very good.
No, really, outside of Judge, Stanton, and Rizzo, who else is there in the lineup that's hitting? And don't tell me Volpe because he got that one home run.
All right, fine. Because Glaber's cooled off. DJ's still been decent in runners to score, but he's still knocking his guy. He's at 260 for this team is actually really good. Like 260, that's like a 300 on this team, with these averages. So, DJ's still been DJ, but yes, he's older. Yeah, but I'm with you. I don't buy this team in October. Again, I think what are they now? They're like 2 games under 500 since like last year's All-Star break. Like it's not a very good team. And look, Cashman just got a 4-year extension, so it's not like this team wins 70 games. He's not going anywhere.
Cashman's staying. The guy who's going to take the fall is Boone. Boone will take the fall for this. Boone should take the fall for this, but he will. No, both guys should take the fall for this, but Boone will be the one to take the fall.
Cashman, I feel bad. Monday night was on Boone, but I feel like Boone gets too much criticized at times. Like, what's he supposed to do with this team? Like, there's not like.
Yeah, but again, you can't fire 25 players. Someone has to be to blame, and he's the one who's got to be to blame.
Yeah, he's going to be the one to get blamed. What has he got? 2 years left, I think, on a contract. So yeah, I would assume because again, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, the Yankee fans are going to. They're gonna want somebody. They're gonna want somebody fired, and yeah, that guy's gonna be Aaron Boone, even though he's a puppet. But look, this team, I'm with you. Like I think I had this team losing the wild card with our predictions. Like I didn't buy this team because there's just not much outside of Aaron Judge, and I don't trust Stanton. Again, he's gonna be out for another 2 months. Like he's only on the IL for 2 weeks, and there's been no peeps. Like I can't imagine he's coming back anytime soon. Hopefully the Judge thing is quick, but you never know. So, look, you're already 8.5 back at Tampa Bay, and you're playing them this weekend, and you could very possibly get swept. So, yeah, you could be 11.5 out staring yourself on Monday morning. So, yeah, this team, I could see this team being bouncing a wild card around.
I agree. And now moving on to the Red Sox. They've been playing pretty well. I mean, they've been all hitting the ball well. Verdugo, he's been hot. He's been a couple of walk-offs for him. He's been hot. I mean, obviously you got Devers hitting well, and then you got Yoshida. Yoshida's really stepped up for them too. I think they got a good bullpen. The issue with this team, and I still think, even though they're hot and they're 17 and 14, I think the issue with this team is the starting pitching. They do not have enough starting pitching, and I don't think it will keep. The thing about it is this pitching has to keep this team has to kind of stay afloat until late July. Because that's the trade deadline where they can improve their rotation. I just don't see. I know this team's 17 and 14, but I just don't see this team with their pitching to be being able to stay afloat until late July. I think they're going to be too far. I know they're good right now, but I still, in my opinion, think they're going to be too far out of it in late July for it to make a difference. If they're going to for it to make a difference, or for them to improve their rotation.
Yeah, it really could be. Look, the crazy thing is right now is like the Red Sox fans are, where the position they're in, they're for the no expectations, they're actually kind of excited for what
it's a weird spot though for Boston fans because they're so depressed about what happened to the Bruins and the Celtics that the Red Sox is they're kind of flying under the radar. And are people really buying this team?
Yeah, and I think they're buying things right now just the way like the fight is. But yeah, like I don't know if they're bought into 162 games that they're going to be this competitive and they're going to be right in the mix. But look, the bright side, they've already beat Toronto twice this year. They were 3-16 against them last year. So they've done a little bit better in that department this year because they struggled to beat anybody in the division. But yeah, like the starting rotation is still gonna show. But again, Houck went out there. He gave up 6 runs of the 5th inning last night. They needed a 6 out because their bullpen was just, they had nobody in their bullpen last night. He gave him the 6 and he got a 1, 2, 3. Like, and Paxton's been getting lit up like a Christmas tree in AAA. He actually shut down the Yankees AAA roster tonight. No surprise, but he's been getting rocked at AAA. So they're gonna keep him down there for another start or two. But I don't know how much you get out of him when he comes back up. But yeah, their lineup's been great, and Verdugo's already got eight walk-off hits in his career. So he's been great in the clutch. And yeah, can this team stay afloat? It's tough, but the team's the lineup's been good, and Connor Wong with 2 home runs last night was huge. So look, this Red Sox team's fun to watch. Like, they're much fun than the Yankees. The Yankees can't hit the baseball. At least I hate to say it, but the Red Sox games are actually entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Besides when Garrett Cole's on the mound.
They don't pitch and they hit. That's why they're entertaining.
Yeah, like, they're fun to watch. Again, it's not as, I don't like to see them winning, but look, the Yankees are dragging unless Garrett Cole's on the mound. Like, you don't really feel like you have a shot to win unless Cole's pitching. It's a 1-2 score game, 1-2 run game. So look, right now for the Red Sox, it's nicer. They're hanging in there, but yeah, we'll see how much longer with that bullpen and rotation, how long, because I can't expect the offense is good, but yeah, can they put up 8-9 runs a night all year? And I just don't think you could keep that up.
Absolutely. So we'll wrap up the show talking about the Rangers and the Bruins. Obviously, the Bruins was a major disappointment with them being out of the playoffs, but the big question is the Rangers losing the first round after what they did? They were up 5-1, game 1 and game 2, 5-1 in New Jersey. Is this as disappointing? Is this close? I don't think it's as disappointing, but is this as close to as disappointing of a? Is it close to as disappointing as the Bruins? Is it close to as disappointing them losing the first round? Is it close to as disappointing as the Bruins losing the first round? I still don't think so, because I just think the Bruins are just a major disappointment after having the best record in all of hockey, and being the best team of all time in all of hockey, and then losing the first round. I think that's just an epic disappointment because of what happened. I think that's really, really bad. The Rangers, yes, they got Kane and Tarasenko, but they still were the 3 seed, and the Devils were the 2 seed. They still were the lower seed. So I still don't think, even though it's disappointing, I don't think it's even close to the disappointment that the Bruins had losing the first round of the Panthers.
Yeah, because again, you go back, the Bruins were up 3-1. They had 3 chances to close the Panthers out, and they couldn't do it. And there were 2 goals they went up 6-4 with 10 minutes shut the door there. And I heard yesterday, I guess Ullmark wasn't 100%, and that's why they threw in Swayman in Game 7. But that was a tough spot, and the Panthers are the better team Sunday night. They were. They deserved to win that game over the Bruins. I think it's a team that was just, I think they got tight. They were 0-3 with Bergeron, which was surprising. But yeah, like with the Rangers, they didn't show up. But I go back to last year. Did that Rangers team really beat Pittsburgh if Trouba doesn't knock out Sidney Crosby? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. No.
I think this team is farther off than we think they were. Or I think they were not as close as we all thought they were. And look, I don't know how. I've read a couple things where maybe Gallant gets fired and they go after Joe Quenneville. I wouldn't
mind that. I wouldn't mind going after Quenneville. He won a couple cups in Chicago. I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind that either. But that kind of story that came out a couple years ago he kind of kept quiet about a sexual. That's the only thing because they're gonna have to go through the NHL to get him.
Yeah,
signed,
I get it.
That's the only thing I worry about. But Gallant's kind of overstated as well. That's the problem in Vegas. But yeah, I think the Bruins are a little bit more. I still didn't think the Bruins were that great going the regular. Like, into the season, I thought they were the 4th best team in their division. They had a great year, but I think it's just disappointing that you had 3 chances, you could not close them out, and I think that's the disappointing one. But with the Rangers, it's like you could have had a chance. You beat the Devils, and that's the problem too. Is like the Devils. Jack Hughes is 21 years old. You're gonna have to deal with him probably for the next 2 decades. So yeah, the Rangers. I think the disappointing part is we're farther away.
Yeah, that rivalry's back now. That rivalry that was there in the 2000s with Marty against Mike Richter, with Marty Brodeur. The Devils are back. With Jack Hughes, the Devils are back. So yeah, they're going to be there for a while now.
Yeah, and they've gone the last 3 times the playoffs now. So at some point, it'd be nice to knock these guys off because they've gotten us in the playoffs lately. So look, they got some work to do, and we'll see. Because I don't know where the Rangers turn from here. I don't know. because the Devils just looked like the better, faster team, and especially in Game 7.
Yeah, especially at the end of that series, especially in Games 5 and 7, they definitely looked like they were the better team. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the Rangers. We'll see what they do in the offseason. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We will be back next week, continuing to talk about the NBA playoffs, the Yankees and Red Sox, and any NFL news that comes our way. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
They're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.